Hey there, welcome to prompt number 142. I'm hoping for something a little bit on the spooky side because we're getting close to Halloween. Let's see what we have. We've got two, bat, heck yeah. Sorry, I got really excited. And chicken. So bat, that is super Halloween-y. So here we go, let's get to sketching. I am always down for stylizing either stupid birds or really just any animal in general, so I was pretty excited not only to stylize some animals, but like I said, Halloween and bat in the same month, that is super exciting, as you can tell, because my audio spiked. So I was just really into stylizing these animals, so I drew a couple of chickens being stupid. Chickens are like the fattest bird. I'm probably going to get corrected on that, but they just feel like they're just so bulky compared to most birds, and something about that is just really silly. Except it's probably because we eat them. Now when it comes to bats, they are quite something else. They look like rats, but they're also very ugly, but also very cute at the same time. I don't know how I feel about bats. I mean, they're so tiny and they're cute, but then you look at them up close and you're like, what happened to your face? Who punched you? Anyways, so with those two animals together and Halloween being around the corner, of course I was thinking about vampires and bats, and then I thought, what if a vampire was a chicken-related creature instead of a bat? So that is the general idea of today's illustration. So I knew for this prompt I was going to focus on character design, and I wasn't going to do anything crazy with the background. Nothing super interesting as far as the story goes. I think in general Inktober has been killing me with character designs and backgrounds and stories. Oh my gosh, the story. So I'm feeling a little brain dead. We're just going to keep it simple this month. We're going to do some character designs unless I feel inspired to do something else later on. We'll see. But for now, I was really excited to play around with color and shapes and character design. So the general idea here is that we have a vampire dad, I suppose, and their kid, I guess instead of rebelling and going goth like you would in the human world, maybe because vampires already have that sort of goth vibe, I had the kid rebel against the dad by doing something a little more cutesy. So instead of being a bat-based vampire, this kid has decided that he is going to have a chicken as a familiar. Do vampires have familiars? I don't really know. I thought that was a witch thing. But bats are companions as far as I've seen in movies and stuff with vampires. So maybe this kid, for whatever reason, I don't know if he trained chickens or if he was born and chickens just loved him for some reason, but he's a vampire that has a chicken beak and pecks people instead of bite them. I guess he doesn't have sharp teeth because he's a bird-based vampire. Anyways, I had a lot of fun designing this kid's outfit. So when I think vampires, I do think they are a little bit on the sleek, fancy side. They usually look well put together. Maybe dress up a little bit. I do love that about vampires. So when it came to the chicken costume, it is a little bit more costumey and a little bit less formal wear as far as clothes go, I suppose. It's definitely a costume, not clothes. But it's very cute. We have some lovely over-the-knee boots that look like bird legs, a winged bodysuit that is nice and white and feathery, and just to incorporate that weird red stuff on chickens' heads, I gave them a tie. Because like I said, vampires usually dress kind of more on the fancy side. So even though this looks like a costume, I thought I would just throw the kid a tie and call it fancy. It's kind of silly and cute and random, but I really like the design of this kid's outfit. I think it's adorable. Of course, we've got our little round chicken palling around with him. They are taking off, and I was going to say they are taking off to fly around with their dad, but chickens, I don't think chickens can even fly, so maybe this kid can't even fly. So he's kind of a failure of a vampire. He can't really bite anyone, he can't fly. He just sort of pecks people and floats around as best as he can with what little flying power he has. The more I talk about this character, the more sad it gets, which is fine because the dad is actually, he loves his son, but he's a little disappointed that he's not the typical blood-loving, bat-hugging vampire kid. As a dad, he wants the best for his kid, but he's afraid that maybe he didn't make the best choice by being a chicken vampire. Unless this vampire made babies with a chicken. I don't know their life. I'm not going to judge. So because I knew the outfit of this character was going to be white, even though I know there are different colors of chickens, I thought it would be really fun to have a white costume and then color around them. I was going to have a lot more black in the image, but then I thought it would be cool to fade the vampire dad into this really cool red background, but in the end, I don't think it really worked out as well as I was hoping it would. It's still really cool. It's bright, it's red, it's intense, it's kind of scary. Until you look at the dad's face and he's just super silly looking instead of scary looking. But you guys know my art. I am always looking to make things a little bit more on the silly side rather than serious. I mean, did you see that bat design? The bat is absolutely ridiculous, but that's what I love about art. You can do whatever you want and make things look stupid and unrealistic and just make them that more lovable. The bat, it's like a Pokemon. It's a head with legs and wings and ears and a silly face. You can barely tell it's a bat, but I assure you it's a bat. So because the background wasn't as intense and interesting as I was hoping it would be, I decided to add some bats flying in the background, and again, the bats didn't really turn out how I was imagining them in my head, so I'm a little disappointed but also very happy with how they turned out. I'm disappointed because they're kind of a mess. They just kind of look like a mess. But at the same time, I really love the way that they vary in darkness, I suppose, and the shapes are really interesting because bats aren't quite the same as birds when it comes to flying, but they are similar in the sense because they do have wings that flap. Either way, I don't hate this illustration. I don't love it. I still had fun with the character design, and I'm just pleased that the timing of bat with Halloween was so good. Alright, and that is that for this prompt. I will see you guys at the end card. Last week's prompts were brick wall, box of chocolates, and what made this the most interesting prompt was something that comes in pairs, which gave such a variety to all of your art. I was so interested to see in what you guys chose for that one. First up, we have Sam Smith 1454, who had this absolutely terrifying and just mysterious illustration. We've got our box of chocolates, we have our brick wall, and we have this terrifying pair of eyes staring at us. It's just so intense and so spooky for Halloween. Love it. And next up is Quinny Harles, who had this adorable 3D illustration. Now, I've done cutout 3D art before, but I've never thought about making it a 90-degree angle turn and turn it into a room. That is so much fun, and I love it so much. It's just so clever and fun. We have our box of chocolates, 2 glasses of wine, and our brick wall, which is the fireplace. It's just so cozy. I want to curl up in this little scene. Alright, that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining in. I can't wait to see what you do for bat and chicken. I'll see you in the next video. Stay golden. Bye.